Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hello.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 Cents.
What up, though?
And I am Scribe Light, the Lord of Punishment, and also the Lord of flickering lights tonight, because there's like a windstorm going on. So if I suddenly disappear tonight, guys, that might be why. But either way, hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone has had a good week back from vacation so far. Those of you who had a vacation of a kind last weekend for Thanksgiving. Thank you, Boatman. Equality for all of the Lords of the Night. Well, thank you, Boatman, very much. I appreciate that. It'll do well to go towards all my Dr. Pepper and Jack Daniels.
Boatman's
I had
good
actually,
people.
yeah, Boatman is good people. Wait, is he more than one?
Well, no, that's a saying.
Well, I know, I know it's a saying. I just never quite understood it because it's like if you're referring to a person, people is a plural.
You're right, but he's good people sounds better. He's good person doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that don't sound right. He good peoples.
How about he is a good person?
That's too many words. This is all about economy of words.
This has been your English major moment. So how are you guys doing? How are you, Satsu?
Pretty damn good.
Okay.
Nothing else behind that. Just pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. And how about you, Monkey?
Sore but well.
I saw you streaming earlier.
I did indeed. It's
very near to this, actually.
It was
Monkey in the morning was more like Monkey in the late evening.
It was morning in Japan.
Oh, is that how you set your clock?
I have to come up with excuses for why Monkey in the morning is happening all throughout the day. So I go by time zones.
I see. So you're targeting the Asian market then, are you?
No, I'm using them as an excuse.
You hear that, Cryptic? There you go.
Cryptic already knew that.
You are an excuse. I am doing okay. Today, what happened today? Not much. Went to work, did my bit. I'm still waiting on some stuff. There's going to be a rush of multiple kinds at the end of this week because it's month end. And not only will there be billing and everything else as usual, which is always a headache, but there's other things that are probably going to align exactly on that day to add on to the pile. So if I'm grumpy come Friday, that might be why. And of course, if I am, I'll probably vent about it then. But that's just a sort of a warning label that I might be a grumpy guy on Friday. But that aside, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, hit that like button if you have not already. And many of you have not, which makes me sad. I'd like to see.
Look at Scribe. I keep telling you, dude.
I'd like to see if we can get to 100 before the second hour. That's my goal. That's my goal, to get to 100 likes before the second hour. And also share our stuff. As I say probably too often, but it always bears repeating. And I'm not talking about Irate Bear. Irate Bear does not bear repeating.
I see what you did.
Yeah. YouTube doesn't tell most of our audience that we've posted a new video or posted a new stream or anything else like that. I have on multiple occasions recently, and I said this last time, been told by people, oh, I didn't even know you posted a new video. I didn't get an alert. My subscription list didn't tell me anything. So really, you guys sharing our stuff, sharing the links to the Lords of the Night streams, to our new videos, our content, is invaluable. So by all means, please help us out when you can, and appreciate it when you do. So thank you, Jay Brown. Given super chats to Monkey and Satsu, but I saved the best for last. Actually, I like all three of you the same. You know, that's a quick way to diffuse a great compliment. Thank you, Jay Brown. I appreciate that.
You know what, Scribe? I think 76 might have scarred you too much because I'm pretty sure you forgot video games.
Did I forget video games? You're right. I probably did forget video games because 76 is like, calloused my brain. So I apologize if I forgot video games. Because Yeah, well, I could go on about 76, and I was just before the stream started, but I'll save that maybe for later. Not that there's not already enough people shitting on 76 as it is, but you know, one more critic doesn't.
Oh, sorry. My brain jumped the gun there. I apologize.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to remind people, because YouTube does do a shitty job of letting you guys know when we're live or when we put a video live. Follow us on Twitter. It does a much better job.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I don't even know if it makes a difference anymore, but when you subscribe, click the bell icon. I guess maybe it'll help.
Click the bell icon and then click yes, I want to see all videos, because they want to make sure you're double sure that you want to watch our shit.
Exactly. So yeah, subscribe to all 3 channels, click the bell icon, follow us on Twitter. I know Satsu's active on Facebook to some extent. Do you have an account under Satsu, or is it your real name?
It's my real name, but
okay, well, I won't worry about that.
I'm usually just going back and forth with dumb people on there, okay. So that's... Yeah.
All right. Well, all that being said, shall we get into the schnuzz, or do you guys have games or things to plug?
Oh, it's our night off, man.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, then, as per the title of the stream, which is just so creative because I was like, oh, I have to set up the stream now. What's the title going to be? What's the headline of the day? Okay. Well, Trump threatens to cut General Motors subsidies.
Good.
In response to their getting ready to close down factories and lay off people. President Donald Trump threatened on Tuesday to cut all General Motors subsidies after the automaker announced thousands of job cuts. Quote, very disappointed with General Motors and their CEO, Mary Barra, for closing plants in Ohio, Michigan, and Maryland, Trump tweeted. We are now looking at cutting all GM subsidies, including for electric cars, which was purportedly the very reason they were cutting so much stuff out, is to fund those projects. GM stock declined as much as 3.8% on the basis of those comments. GM closed 2.6% lower, wiping out a chunk of Monday's gains. Trump's threat came a day after GM announced plans to cut 14,000 jobs and shut 5 facilities in North America, dealing a blow to the president's promise to help auto workers. GM said the moves are, quote, designed to prepare the company for a future of driverless and electric vehicles. GM is also responding to a consumer shift away from sedans in favor of trucks and SUVs. It's not clear what subsidies Trump was referring to. A person familiar with the matter, that's what's going to be on my business card someday, told CNN Business, CNN's business subsidiary thing or whatever, that GM is unaware of any significant federal subsidies the company is receiving beyond a $7,500 plug-in tax credit, which goes to the consumer, not the company.
Well, then there's nothing to worry about.
You mean our president is talking about something he has no idea about? Thank you, Peter Manning. Spunky Monkey. Are you Spunky Monkey?
Apparently.
Oh. How is the Punky Monkey? How's the pumpkin?
She's up there sleeping.
Good.
She had to go to the doctor today, and they've changed her food that she's getting because she's had an upset belly.
Oh, poor pumpkin. Thank you, Sanguine. About Fu King time. If a business card can't stand without the government scaffolding, it shouldn't be standing. Oh, sorry, if a business can't stand. Sorry, business card. Ugh. My bad eye, guys. Yeah, I can use that as a crutch now. My bad eye. If I misread things. Well, I mean, those of you who were listening very carefully way back in the streams earlier in the year, I made some side comments referring to the problems I had in reading. So sometimes my difficulty in reading articles wasn't completely because I was illiterate, but because I couldn't actually see the words as well. So in this instance, I don't really have that excuse. I just misread that. So you
could have just said you were reading like Satsu, but you know, whatevs.
I don't want to compare myself to you.
Oh yeah, well that's jumping a bit high.
Because you're so much better than I am.
I know, man.
Let's see. The federal government provides that tax credit for each plug-in vehicle purchased. However, this subsidy goes away once an automaker reaches 200,000 electric cars sold, and GM may hit that threshold by the end of the year, making its 2019 and 2020 tax credits smaller. Quote, the entire industry qualifies for this. It's nothing exclusive to GM, said Jeremy Acevedo, manager of industry analysis at Edmunds. I don't even know what Edmunds is, but I'm assuming it's an industry analysis company. Tesla, the leading electric car maker, already hit the 200,000 milestone earlier this year. Its tax credit will start getting smaller on January 1st. So it doesn't mean anything. Trump has made an empty threat.
Not necessarily. I mean, if they can do it based on, car sales, they can also change it so like, okay, based on being from GM. And if GM thinks people aren't buying them with that tax credit, or they're not going to go somewhere else where they can get that tax credit, they're wrong.
I don't know if isn't that a bill of attainder?
How so?
Well, I mean, if they change the tax law to target a specific company. I mean, I could be mistaken as to how that works, but that sounds a little vindictive on a governmental level.
But...
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but anyway. But yeah, so GM took a big gamble, and I don't claim to understand the logic behind it. Do you guys think that electric cars and everything else is going to become that much bigger an industry?
Electric cars?
I think it could.
Maybe.
It still seems like something that's far more prevalent on the coasts than it has reached like middle America.
I would agree with that. 10, 20 years from now, sure. If you're talking about, it reaching middle America.
Well, I guess the population is thinner as you get closer into the center of the country, so it doesn't really matter to the automakers so much, but I don't know. Just curious. My father worked for the auto industry for most of my life, and so I just kind of find a grand decision like this kind of interesting. I'm wondering if they're not, shooting themselves in the foot in the long run. I'm also curious as to what the other auto companies will do in response to try to basically eat up the business that the other guys are leaving on the table.
Well, they keep mentioning that consumers have moved away from sedans, but what they're not touching much on is that consumers have moved very much towards SUVs and minivans, and that's where they're spending their money.
Well, that's specifically what they said, that they were cutting out the sedans because they were all moving towards that stuff.
Yeah, and then they went on to talk about how GM was focusing on their motorized, their little fake cars, instead of talking about the fact that what they could have done at these plants is change them around so they could make those SUVs people want. But instead, no, they're pushing this hippie shit.
Yeah. Or convert those plants into electric car manufacturers. I don't quite understand. So are they going to partition? They're shutting down plants. I mean, did those plants only specifically build sedans? Is that what it was? I don't know.
Yeah, typically with the car industry, that's what happens. This plant builds this car for us, and then this plant over here will build this car for us.
Sure, just retool them.
That's one of the things that Trump was bitching about, is because they shut down these ones in the U.S., but they left open the China and the Mexico plants. Mm-hmm. Didn't touch any of those. They could do this with all of them. Just retool them. They've done that before. It's silly. Stop with it.
Thank you, number 13. George Mason has a birthday, asshole.
What?
Oh, I was talking to Monkey. I didn't know. Jeez Louise, call me names and stuff. Okay, well, George Mason, Snubberth really, really is offended that I didn't notice that you had a birthday. I apologize.
So it's George Mason.
I know Snubberth probably isn't targeting that at me, but I'll take offense at it all the same.
He's not here, by the way.
Oh, he's not here.
Where is he?
He's at work, and we'll have to catch it later, I think.
Oh,
is what
okay.
Sparrow said.
That's fine. I'll sing to you even if you can't hear me live. George Mason, I know you're not out there because you're at work. Chomp. No. I hope you had a happy birthday, and I hope this adds to the happiness. This one's for you, and a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Jorge.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Jorge.
Happy birthday, dear George Mason.
Georgie Porgy.
Jorge Mason jar.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, George. I hope you had a great birthday. I really do.
Yep.
Sorry you have to work on your birthday, man. That sucks.
Yep. Everybody should get their birthday off.
I agree.
Yes. Let's see what else is going. It's actually been a relatively slow news day today, guys. So I don't have a whole lot, but that just means there's more MSS news to talk about. The special election is taking place in Mississippi right now, where the Hang'em candidate is against the not Hang'em candidate. I guess I don't know. Right now, Hyde Smith, the lady who made the a public hanging comment, she's in the lead, 54.1% to I think it's Mike Espy, if I'm not mistaken, who's at 45.9. The percentage reporting is not, 14% is reporting as of right now. I won't go over the long post that Chris Saliza made, but his post today was about how Hyde Smith is a near lock to win today. What was also interesting, though, about this article is that it's actually Chris Saliza interviewing, who was it? Some other analyst about this. And there was a comment by the guy. Okay, this comment caught me off guard, given all of the rhetoric surrounding this lady and her public hanging comment. So this isn't Chris Saliza, this is this other guy. He says, "I'd be remiss not to point out that Hyde Smith doesn't have a history of racial divisiveness in her political life." So that seems to have fallen by the wayside in all of this, is that she made this public hanging comment as a turn of phrase, but she has no recorded history of ever being racially divisive in anything she's done in her political life.
That doesn't matter.
Of course not.
Doesn't fucking matter.
No.
This is, and look, guys, I'm not saying this is something just Democrats do. They found something they think they can get her on.
Yep.
They'll go for it. It doesn't matter if they fucking destroy your reputation in the process.
Nope. Let's see. He also says there are a lot of people, Republicans and Democrats, who believe she may not have been ready for the national spotlight that came with this campaign, but they don't believe she is a bigoted racist, especially considering some of the elected officials and politicians who consistently say and embrace far worse things. Yeah, but
like
that's
BLM. Oh no, probably not.
Oh well, that. But of course, they probably weren't up for a special election where you had to sort of like drum up the voter base on hate and misinformation.
Sure.
Anyway, just for the sake of fun, I will keep the election results for that open over the course of the night, and we'll see how things proceed. According to all the experts I'm reading, she's still going to win, but the experts have been wrong before. So if you care about Mississippi's politics, this is your first news choice or something, I guess. We're just as good as TYT, guys.
First in Mississippi politics.
Yeah, that's us, who none of us live anywhere near.
None of us live there.
Yep.
That
We're
don't
just
matter.
like TYT, guys.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't give a fuck about Mississippi.
I know. Like I said, it's been a slow news day.
I am interested in the election though, so I just don't give a fuck. After somebody's elected, I don't give a fuck what they do. I really don't.
Let's see, what else do we have? So this comes from CNN Business, the business subsidiary of CNN. Former Facebook employee says the company has, quote, a black people problem, unquote.
Like how?
I don't know. Facebook has a, quote, black people problem, unquote, according to a former black manager at the company. So was he managing black people, or was he a black guy who was a manager?
That's a good question. That's not going to get answered.
I know. On Tuesday, the manager, vocal diversity advocate Mark S. Lucky.
Wait, time out.
Lucky, yes.
A vocal what now?
He's a vocal diversity advocate.
What the fuck is that?
Well, he advocates for diversity vocally.
And he does it out of his mouth.
Yes.
Sometimes his ass.
That's a job?
Yeah. No, that's not a job title. It's just a description of what he does, like in his free time, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's his job?
Well, he was a manager of some kind. I don't know yet. Hold on. On Tuesday, the manager, a vocal diversity advocate, Mark S. Lucky, made public a memo he sent to Facebook's global staff before leaving the company on November 16th. Oh, so he took a shit in the room and left. Okay. In the memo, Lucky said black people make up some of the most active users on Facebook, but the company itself is not nearly as diverse.
Oh, okay. Keep going. I think
right.
I know where we're going.
This is where our workforce must match our user base. That argument. Thank you, Jay Brown. Lords of the Night is greater than TYT. Well, we have more letters in our abbreviation. That's true.
That's true as well.
Yes. And we're not like some kids from Turkey. We are Lords of the Night, for God's sakes.
Plus, when we have women on the show, they don't look like they just vomited.
Oh no, that's not
what.
Nice. That's not
Tell me, Anna Kasparian doesn't look like she got some bulimia going on. Come on.
I don't know.
She got that just threw up glow about her.
No, she looks more like somebody who's obsessed with exercise more than necessarily bulimia.
All right.
I mean, if you're living in California, you're eating nothing but kale and exercising all the time, you could get that result as well.
I ain't seen nobody who exercise all the time not have any muscles in their arms.
Okay. Well, that's what happens when you don't have enough protein in your diet when it's all kale. I just assume everybody in California eats kale. That's all it is.
I just assume Anna purges.
Let's see. California. Nice.
Well
California. Thank you, Sanguine. So which one of you is better than us? Which genocide do you all want to dismiss? And with what plea for agreement will you end every overt bit politically driven drivel?
Well, I don't think I'm better than any of you, but I am definitely better than everyone at TYT.
Well, I probably have a higher education than all of y'all. Not everybody in the chat. I'm sure somebody in there's got a PhD in, something important that I just don't qualify with. But
I have a master's degree in video games.
There you go. Which genocide do you all want to dismiss? Zerg. Fuck the Zerg.
I
don't know.
I don't dismiss genocides. I'm firmly against dismissing genocides.
I know what genocide I dismiss. The Jedi.
Oh,
Fuck the Jedi.
The Jedi. I thought you were going to say all those little kids deserve to die.
No. Well, some of them. They had annoying voices. It's like, Master Skywalker, what's wrong? That kid deserved to die.
Yeah, he kind of
just
did.
Bad acting. It's like prevented us all from having to suffer any more of that for the rest of our lives.
Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Well, hey, I am a Sith Lord in training, at least. I got to go along with the flow, Anyway, black employees now make up 4% of the U.S. workforce in 2018, up from 2% in 2016. Are they talking about like the whole U.S. workforce or the Facebook workforce?
What was the total?
That was 4% of the U.S. workforce in 2018.
That doesn't sound right, but maybe.
Hold on. I'm talking about no, really. Is that okay? It's Facebook. It's Facebook, not the national. Okay, the way they formed that sentence, it was so ambiguous. I was like, what?
I mean, yeah, that would be a really low. Anyway.
Really. Quote, the population of Facebook employees doesn't reflect its most engaged user base, unquote, wrote Lucky, who worked as a partnerships manager at Facebook, focused on managing relationships with global influencers from diverse backgrounds.
Fucking influence. That's it. I'm an influencer now.
By what metric can he claim that they are the most active users?
Well, let's take a survey. Scribe, how much do you use Facebook?
I might check in 2 or 3 times a week, and I might post 2 or 3 times a month.
I haven't been on Facebook in like 2 months. Satsu, how often are you on Facebook?
Every other day.
Yeah, there you go. So by that metric, Satsu, there you go.
We just proved it.
You know what's funny?
What's
that
funny?
may be a joke, but that is pretty much the extent of their research.
Let's see.
Probably not wrong.
Quote, there is often more diversity in keynote presentations than the teams who present them. Okay. In some buildings, there are more Black Lives Matter posters than there are actual black people. Well, you know why that is? Because everybody's a virtue signaler. Facebook can't claim that it is connecting communities if those communities aren't represented proportionally in its staffing.
Why not?
Why? Let me ask a question. What are the demographics of people who play Minecraft?
13 and under.
Yeah, but I mean, like, racially.
Oh, I have no idea.
It's probably all over the place. I would assume at least it's probably a mix of a whole bunch of people, right?
You would think so.
Yeah. What did the guy look like who made the core of that game?
What was he, Chinese? I don't know.
Well, Notch. No, Notch was white guy.
Oh, Notch did that? I didn't realize.
Yeah. So if
Notch,
I guess if you're a solo video game developer, let's say, does that mean that the only people who are allowed to play your game, or the only audience you're allowed to entertain or have fans of, has to look like you? And if you don't look like your fan base, then you need to quit or something?
No, you need to hire more people who look like your fan base.
See, when I play a game, you know what I do when I get to the credits? I skip them.
So do I. I don't give a shit.
I'm not going to deny that I am amazed sometimes at some of the artistry and everything that goes into those games. And I will watch like behind the scenes videos of like games or companies or whatever else to see what goes on, in the art department or the programming, that kind of thing. I find those things interesting. But when I'm actually playing the game or using the platform or everything else, what does it matter to me? What possible effect does it have on me? What the people behind the code look like?
Because, Scribe, even if you have a really good experience, relate with the story and the characters in the game, and have an overall good time, once you see the credits and find out that most of those people are white, it'll all be erased, or black, or whatever. Like you won't feel it anymore. It'll go away.
Y'all don't look at video game credits. Most of them Chinese, or most of them are Asian.
Thank you, Sanguine. Well, Satsu, they don't have jobs and just like to whinge and snivel publicly, so they probably do have really active Facebooks and Tumblrs. Oh, Sanguine. Let's see. Oh, continuing. Lucky, who worked at the company for a year. So did he leave of his own accord, or because he left? I don't know if that means he was fired or he quit. I don't know. Said that Facebook's lack of black representation among employees has an adverse impact both on users and its other black staffers.
I feel like that's probably not true.
Do tell, quote, Black people are finding that their attempts to create safe spaces on Facebook for conversation among themselves are being derailed by the platform itself. Non-Black people are reporting what are meant to be positive efforts as hate speech, despite them often not violating Facebook's terms of service.
Fuck all white people, y'all crackers ain't shit. Report.
Non-Black people are reporting what are meant to be positive efforts as hate speech. Well, I need some examples of what constitutes a positive effort that's been called hate speech.
Oh, dude, I told you. Don't fucking trust white people because they ain't shit. Keep white people out of our Facebook groups or whatever. I'm tired of white people doing this. White people need to stop doing that. We need to keep white people away from this place. That's positive reinforcement for the Black movement. That's the shit that they're talking about. And when people report it, they're like, you know, this isn't the same as what you call racism. We're just trying to protect and defend our people.
And then there's a link to what he's talking about in another story from something called Reveal News. How activists of color lose battles against Facebook's moderator army. Okay, and here's an example. Mary Canty Merrill was fed up, so she turned to Facebook. Quote, Dear white people, the terminology we use to define a problem determines how we attempt to solve it. She wrote in April. You are so accustomed to defining racism as people of color being the problem that you want to fix us, patronize us, save us, and heal us. You rarely perceive yourselves as the problem, which is where its root lies. Thus, your interventions are most often ill-informed, misdirected, and yield no meaningful or sustainable results. I don't even know what the fuck that means, except that it basically is saying that white people are racist and everybody else is a victim.
Yeah, it's like I said, it coexists with the narrative that if you're white, you should do everything in your power to give everything to Black people, to talk for them and to represent them and make sure that you are always defending them. But they also have the same narrative that every time you try to, it's a problem and you do it wrong, so you should stop. But you should also do it at the same time, but you should stop. But make sure you do it.
Yeah. So basically, this guy, I've heard this argument so many times in so many videos. It's like our workforce needs to reflect our user base because, you know, our user base is XYZ and our workforce isn't diverse enough. Like, well, if your user base is already XYZ without the diversity of your workforce, how is it your user base? Like if the people most using Facebook, let's take his claim as absolute fact, and our little straw poll here is absolute fact. There are more Black people using Facebook than any other demographic. That is with Facebook's employee rankings being 4% Black.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it that so many people of the wrong color compared to the workforce are using the platform? I don't understand how these two things are supposed to match up.
It's a big honky accident.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, there was kind of a update that I wanted to go over here real quick because we talked the other night about a story where there was a shooting at a mall, and the cops show up and they shoot a guy, a Black guy who was there, who they said had a gun on him, but may not have been the shooter. Well, that has changed again.
Oh.
So
he didn't even have a gun?
Well, you're not far off the mark. Okay, the changing police narrative of why a Black man was shot to death in an Alabama mall. All right, so there's a little bit more to this article in the preamble, but I'm just going to go over the highlights of how the story has evolved in the last 3 or 4 days. So Thanksgiving night, police report a shooting. Okay, Friday morning, police say the suspect in the shooting was killed. And they identified the 21-year-old Emantic Bradford Jr. Friday night, so Friday morning, the suspect was killed. Friday night, police say Bradford probably wasn't the shooter. Okay, now skip a couple days over the weekend. Monday morning, police say, we can say with certainty Mr. Bradford brandished a gun. So he was killed, thought it was the suspect. didn't become the suspect because he probably wasn't the shooter, but he was showing a gun. But okay, so that's Monday morning. Later Monday morning, Bradford didn't necessarily brandish a gun.
Well, what did he do then?
Quote, earlier we stated that Mr. Bradford brandished a gun. To clarify, the word brandish was used because Mr. Bradford had a gun in his hand as police officers responded to the active shooter situation between mall patrons. Wait, and then the story goes on, but to brandish, according to most definitions, means to wave or show a weapon in an aggressive or menacing way. Okay, and he did have a permit to carry a concealed weapon. Okay, that's might not be material to the situation, but when somebody says brandishing guns, like the cops are coming and you pointed at them or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what brandish. Now, Monday evening, the shooter is still out there. Hoover Mayor Frank Brocado said the state is still investigating the shooting, including the search for the suspect, who remains at large. He also said the city is in the process of requesting a meeting with the Bradford family. The mayor and Hoover police have urged patience as state authorities try to determine what happened. The police department has referred CNN's questions to the ALEA. Let's see. But Bradford's family's patience is wearing thin. Quote, show us the video. Your words mean nothing to them. The family lawyer Crump said he believes the officer who killed EJ rushed to judgment. Quote, the officer saw a black man with a gun and he made his determination that he must be a criminal. So purportedly there is body cam footage that just hasn't been released yet.
Well, that should wrap it all up.
Yeah, but they have not yet released it. It's not clear if or when they will release the footage to the public. I think it's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when.
Here's the thing: just because you had one asshole who shot too much doesn't mean all police are bad. Mm-hmm. Stop lying about this shit. Tell us what really happened, and let it end.
Yeah,
man.
Sorry, go ahead.
If they would send this story to the White House, we would have knew what happened a long time ago.
Well, I said on Twitter that at this point, as malleable as their narrative has been, I think they just need to hand the entire internal investigation over to an outside party. I don't think that police department or that city's mayor or anybody else, as well-intentioned as they might be, their credibility is completely out the window on this one. So, yeah, but and whoever that officer is. Not in good shape. And when that body camera footage comes out, it'll probably be like a year from now when the lawsuits are exhausted or something else. But I have a feeling it's not going to look good.
Yeah, well, the way things are looking, when they finally do say something, I feel like it's going to be some crazy ass shit, like some off the wall, out of nowhere, completely out of left field. Just like, really? I bet you it is, but we'll see.
All right. Well, I have already taken us over the time, so I'm going to skip that last story, which was just a silly story, and move on to far less silly stories, because we're going to go on to MSS News.
Miss News.
So, everyone, granted that Twitter does not completely screw up the sorting order of the stories tonight like we did last night, if you have stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise to get to them all, primarily because you guys send us so many that we just have we have a wealth of too much. Or what's another? There's a what was it? There's a phrase for that that's suddenly escaping me. We have an abundance of something, or we have a poverty of, I don't know. There's a phrase that best describes that.
I know what you're thinking of, and I can't think of it now.
Yes, chat. Our roving and live knowledge bank. If that strikes a chord with any of you, and you know what phrase I'm trying to find, yeah, that's what I'm.
Let us know, because we're dumb.
Sorry, I walked away for a second. What was it?
It's sort of like something a burden of abundance or something. It's something like that. We
In
are
relation
burdened
to what?
We are burdened with abundance with stories for MSS News.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's the phrase, but it's something like that. Anyway. Cryptic, a dearth is an absence, not an abundance. A surplus, yeah, something like that. Anyway, first one comes from Judge Death. White liberals present themselves as less competent in interactions with African Americans.
Well,
This comes from Yale,
Patronizing,
by the way.
we already know that.
Let's see. A new study suggests that white Americans who hold liberal socio-political views use language that makes them appear less competent in an effort to get along with racial minorities. The soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah, how many times do we have to talk about that?
Yeah, welcome to reality. We fucking figured that out a long time ago.
Even though I don't actually like that phrase because it uses the wrong word, at least in this instance, like bigotry, racism. But anyway, you get the gist of the phrase, even if it's not technically correct. Racial bias can put people of color at a disadvantage when you're interviewing for a job, buying a house, or interacting with the police. New research suggests that bias may also shape daily interactions between racial minorities and white people, even those whites who tend to be less biased. Oh, wait, if I'm changing my word choice to try to relate to people who I assume can't understand me speaking clear English, how does that make me less biased than people who are not liberal?
What they meant to say is people who appear to be or want to be, not actually are.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, once again, you guys have to remember also, this is another argument where we have a group of people who are trying to change language to become more accommodating to people of color. At the same time, telling people that if you do that also, despite the fact that it is demanded, you are also still a problem.
Damn Satsu, that's lit.
I hate white people, man.
Let's see. According to new research by C. Dupree, assistant professor of organizational behavior at Yale, white liberals tend to downplay their own verbal competence in exchanges with racial minorities compared to how other white Americans act in such exchanges. So liberal whites talk down to other races, conservative whites don't. Is that what I'm... So
but the conservatives are racist because they don't, and the liberals are racist because they do.
I will say they are racist because they do, because what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Thank you, Gregory Hurst. Satsu, minority means there's less of them. Hashtag ally. Okay.
That was funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was really funny. Okay. I don't need to read the rest of that. That's the gist. We got other stories. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Wedding photographer arrested after having sex with a guest and then urinating on a tree while on the job.
Why did he on a tree?
Is that her? Because with some makeup, I could see how she'd be relatively attractive, except she looks like, about 3 miles of rough road at this point. A wedding photographer in Texas was arrested while on the job after allegedly having sex with a guest and urinating on a tree. Katie Mehta.
The one who urinated on a tree is a chick?
Yes. Oh, yeah, the photographer is a woman, yeah. Katie, it's either Mehta or Meta, I'm not quite sure, Mehta, 26, who goes by the name Max McIntyre for her business and swimsuit modeling career. Wow, this is an eclectic lady. Was documenting a wedding at Parker Manor in Weatherford when the incident occurred. According to the arrest report, an off-duty sheriff providing security at the event was alerted about Mehta's inappropriate behavior by a member of the wedding party. Mehta was reportedly having sex with a man from the wedding. When the officer advised her to leave, she went over to a tree and began to urinate, according to the report. Oh, and then there's a sexy Instagram photo of her with her push-up bra and her makeup on. So I will share the link in the chat for those of you that want to see this high-class wedding photographer. The photographer reportedly smelled strongly of alcohol. Surprise, surprise. and was found with a bottle of alprazolam, a prescription commonly known as Xanax used to treat anxiety or panic disorders, in her jacket, which the officer believed she was mixing. After she was arrested, Maida became belligerent and started yelling threats to the officers in the car, including, "Y'all's daughters are dead, and y'all families will be dead by Christmas."
What the fuck?
Okay, you know that
Ambien.
you know that there's always that ratio of hot to crazy. Yeah,
She passed it.
She went beyond the pale on that one. Was that a squishy sneezing?
That was a distant squishy sneeze.
Squishy.
What's this? This one comes from Ayana. Exclusive. Oh, this is an exclusive from the Daily News. Brooklyn inmates who say they ate poisoned Thanksgiving carrot cake get $232,000 in a settlement. What?
What? Hold on. What the fuck is a Thanksgiving carrot cake?
I don't know. In prison, I suppose it's a specialty. Thank you, Cryptic. Reminds me of people speaking English very slowly to me at restaurants. I don't get mad. I point at stuff until the check comes.
Nice. That's awesome.
Let's see. Poisoned carrot cake and sweet potatoes made a group of city inmates violently ill and cost the taxpayers more than $232,000. 16 inmates settled a federal lawsuit with the de Blasio administration after they complained food they were served on Thanksgiving in 2015 was filled with rat poison and made them seriously sick.
Oh, damn.
Okay, at least 3 of the detainees inside the Brooklyn House of Detention took so ill they passed out and were sent to a local hospital. 4 more inmates were also hospitalized and underwent CT scans and had their stomachs pumped. Jesus.
Damn.
But many of the sickened inmates were forced to suffer inside a lockdown day room, and they didn't get any medical care for hours. Quote, they were purposefully denied treatment, their lawyer said. Officers also tossed most of the suspicious food before department investigators arrived. As a result, investigators were forced to take samples from the garbage. Tests on that food showed the tainted food had high levels of brodifacoum, a highly lethal rat poison. It remains unclear who put the poison in the food. Well, then.
Okay, so they were just settling this because it was true, not necessarily they did it, but
right.
Get it over with.
And because they because they didn't do a good enough investigation, they can't pinpoint who did it, but also that they didn't do a good job taking care of the guys. I'm glad nobody died. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Moving on. Let's see. Frosted Glass sent us the same Yale story about diminishing one's language faculties. Okay, this one is also from Frosted Glass. Let's see. Wait. Oh, let's do this one. I saw this on Twitter today. This is hilarious. Sci-fi writer says Lord of the Rings is racist because it discriminates against orcs.
Yeah, somebody told me about this story. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Now, and my first question I have is, have I ever heard of this sci-fi writer? Probably not. There's a lot of sci-fi writers out there, and I don't read all sci-fi. Science fiction author Andrew Duncan, nope, don't know him, has a message for J.R.R. Tolkien fans. Again, Listexia. Particularly fans of the famed writer's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Well, I mean, can Tolkien fans really be fans of much else?
Right.
I mean, yeah, The Hobbit, okay, and the Silmarillion, still. Tolkien discriminated against orcs, and the Lords of the Rings books promote racism.
This guy's just trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
Off Tolkien.
Duncan was discussing Lord of the Rings as part of a wider discussion on, that's wider, W-I-D-E-R, just so you know, a wider discussion on fantasy literature for Wired Magazine's Geek Guide to the Galaxy podcast, when his assessment of Tolkien's masterpiece took a decidedly woke turn. Quote, it's hard to miss the repeated notion in Tolkien that some races are just worse than others, or that some peoples are just worse than others, Duncan said. And this seems to me, in the long term, if you embrace this too much, it has dire consequences for yourself and for society, he continued.
Okay.
Thank you, Sanguine. So a kitchen worker, another prisoner, tried to kill more people since at least at the prison I work in, it is the offenders that cook. That, it depends on where the cake came from, I guess. But yeah, I suppose if it did come from within the prison, it's possible. But this is, I think was this a jail? Or I think it was a jail, not a prison. I don't know if that makes a difference. Because it was like a holding deal. So I'm not sure if the kitchen staff at a jail is populated by people who are there, since jail's, in relative terms, more of a temporary stay. Thank you, Attack Alpaca. 10 minutes left, 10 likes to go. Oh, yeah, we're almost at the top of the hour, and I only need 11 more likes, guys, at least for my counter. I see 89.
Get them to 100, y'all. What are y'all waiting for?
190 people watching, 89 likes. 90 likes now. So there's 100 of you that are still capable of hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, this guy's fantasy story.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fantasy story, fictional world. There are bad creatures. The creatures obviously represent minorities, therefore racist. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm already pre-writing my story on how Resident Evil is a commentary on being racist against zombies.
No. Resident Evil, depending on which one you're looking at, is a commentary on racism against and xenophobia against migrants.
Against migrants?
Yeah. So if you're going to write an essay describing that for everybody's edification, make that the narrative, that Resident Evil promotes xenophobia.
Cool.
Yeah, there you go. Because the zombies represent the parasitical notion of migrants taking over. Not only devouring someone's body, but also making them one of their own kind of thing by essentially taking over the country and turning it into something it wasn't before. See?
Indeed.
Yeah. You see, I know, isn't it, though? I mean, I could do this all day, and so could this guy about orcs, for God's sakes. Let's see. What is this? This one comes from Froggy. Woman freaks out at photographer over photo shoot in park. Okay. A photographer shooting Christmas photos, you're way too early, well, maybe not, of her friend's children in Florida were screamed at by an angry neighbor who wasn't happy that a photo shoot was being done in the park. Okay, the profanity-laced confrontation was captured in the 1.5-minute video above. Okay. Coral Springs Talk, which I suppose is a local newspaper, reports that photographer Nicolette Matola was photographing in Coral Springs Orchid Park on a recent Sunday afternoon with her boyfriend Angel Ruiz. The group brought a blanket, a crate, and a small Christmas tree to use as props during the shoot. As the group was wrapping up the shoot and leaving, a woman named Debbie DeCaro emerged from her home and began screaming at the group. Ruiz filmed the encounter and later posted it to his Facebook page. In the video, you named her as DeCaro in one instance and DeCare in another. Okay, well, one of the two. She accuses Matola of regularly using the park for professional photo shoots. Sorry.
So?
Yeah, that was a lot of P words in a row, guys. Sorry. We're at 109 likes. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gregory Hurst. Scribe, you just gave an accidental TEDx on Resident Evil. I think most TEDx's are accidental. Just the way that I see them, anyway. I mean, we could have a whole game out of take this work of fiction, now turn it into a narrative of negativity. We should probably do that for deep topic time. Let's save that. Let's see. This is a park for kids and children and people, DeCaro says, whose loud profanity is arguably less kid-friendly than a Christmas photo shoot. Quote, "We were nothing but polite," Ruiz writes, but that didn't stop her from being nasty and making other kids cry. This is a park for kids and children and people. Well, the two people are people and the kids were the kids, and it's a public park. And taking photos in a public park is legal.
Ain't that hilarious, though? Hey, people who aren't bothering anyone, I'm going to come over here and cause a commotion and bother everyone to tell you that you are bothering people.
Yeah, and using swear words in front of kids and everything else. Yeah, good job, lady. I wonder if she was drinking and on Xanax at the time.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see. Just as an update, if you care about Mississippi,
I don't.
some people do. I suppose people in Mississippi do. Right now, with 48% reporting, Hyde Smith, the Republican, is at 56.2, and SB, the Democrat, is at 43.8. So it looks like she's probably going to win, unless something crazy
And
happens.
then we'll have to read a story about how this proves the country's still so racist.
Yeah. Thank you, Sanguine. Do you mean the talks or the people giving them? Because, yeah, a lot of them do seem the product of a burst condom. Jesus. Well, I was being a little facetious. Yeah, TEDx talks. Well, I could say a lot about TEDx talks. And you can hear me say them on the playlist on my channel, TED Excellence. All of my TEDx talks videos are on there. And I just did one the other day. So. Yeah.
Nice plug.
Well, as well as my actual TED Talks, because I kind of mixed them in now, because occasionally I'll come across an actual TED Talk that lights a fire. Let's see. This one comes from Corey Sasuke. Beto O'Rourke, who is still relevant for some reason. Beto O'Rourke slams Trump administration's handling of migrant caravan. Quote, "Let's do this the right way," unquote. All right, Beto.
This wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. So Beto, with your proto-presidency insight, tell us what is the right way to handle this. Let's see. In a message posted online to Medium on Sunday, O'Rourke called on the U.S. government to handle the situation at the southern border the right way after U.S. Border Patrol agents fired tear gas at hundreds of Central American migrants who had rushed the U.S.-Mexico border.
Oh, that almost sounds like what Obama did. Anyway.
Quote, "It should tell us something about her home country that a mother is willing to travel 2,000 miles," was actually 4,000 miles, but whatever, "with her 4-month-old son to come here." O'Rourke, who lost his Senate bid against Republican incumbent Ted Cruz in the midterm elections, wrote in a message posted online to Medium. It does tell us something about her home country. Okay, I'm not going to say that Ecuador or Venezuela or are like wonderful places to be. But it also says something about that mother that she decided to drag her 4-month-old son 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles across hostile territory with no support, money, supplies, nothing, to risk on the chance that maybe she could jump a fence and come here illegally and put her and her son into legal jeopardy for the rest of their time here, rather than try to get into Mexico, who are willing to take people in.
Yeah, it's very telling that your sense of help, the help you need, is so very urgent that you can actively turn down and decline help that's happening right in front of you.
O'Rourke continued, "It should tell us something about our country, that we only respond to this desperate need once she is at our border."
What?
Sorry, when did she become our responsibility? Before she got here?
Do we give aid to Honduras?
To Honduras? Let's see. U.S. aid Honduras. Let's see
where she's from.
U.S. aid. It's either Guatemala or Honduras. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we have a total number here. Okay, what U.S. aid is on the? Okay, I'm sure it's here somewhere. I can't find it right off the top. Oh, how much aid does the U.S. give to Central America? And you're not going to tell us the number. Okay. Oh, here it is. Let's see, $180 million in combined aid for Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador is planned for 2019. So let's say that's evenly split amongst all three of them. You're looking at $60 million apiece, which isn't much, but then we don't need to be giving anybody anything necessarily.
Well, yeah, it's not our job to do it, but he makes it, we got to take care of this before, like, bitch, we already give stuff to them.
Now, Granted, a lot of that money is probably falling into corrupt pockets. Not going to deny that either. But then what do you want us to do, Beto? They are, whatever the quality of their countries, they are their countries, sovereign nations. I mean, unless you're saying we should go invade these things and make them act like we want them to, which I think is called, what's that word again? Oh, colonialism, kind of?
Yeah, we don't like the colonialism.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what solution you want, Beto. We have a process for people to come here and seek asylum and or apply for residency or citizenship, a legal process that anybody can do if they're willing to jump through the hoops. Does that guarantee everybody who tries is going to get in? No, but then that's how it works in most countries. So I would love to know what your solution is, Beto, because I see, as I'm reading down this, I'm skimming over it, I see a lot of complaints. I don't see a lot of solutions. He ends with saying, we choose how to respond to this challenge. Let's do this the right way and follow our own laws.
But not our immigration laws.
Not our immigration laws, mind you. Not those.
No.
Just the ones that benefit us and what we want to happen.
I guess. Anyway, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you guys so much for getting us to over 100 likes before we got to the second hour. Thank you, Serenity Lotus. Numenorians did everything wrong. Truth facts. Now, I don't know what that is because I'm ignorant.
You ignorant.
Is that a Lord of the Rings reference by any chance? If not, I have no idea. But anyway, it's YouTube time. So, per usual, Satsu, what have you been up to?
I got the audio for my 76 video done, and that's ready to be uploaded. And I uploaded a video of a new tempered monster they added to Monster Hunter over on my 2 Cents Plus channel. And I also been laying down the groundwork for the next stream that we're going to be doing, because I stopped using the new program that I was using and switched back to the old one because the new one is a bit too restrictive for the time being. So I have that set up and it should be ready for the next stream. I'll probably be doing a test stream early tomorrow morning to make sure that everything works as far as the dual stream goes. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's what I did today.
All right, Monkey.
I did something. Oh, I did a couple of streams. That's what I did.
I was about to say you did a little something.
I did a stream last night and then another one just before. Well, I think I ended 2 hours before showtime. Just rambling on like I do.
With who?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. Let's see. This morning,
Pat was on the one
you
just.
Yeah, Pat was on the one we just did. I was trying to remember the morning one first.
Oh, sorry.
I was going in order. Let's see. Prospero, Polly, 1 Ton Hammer, Bear, and Dax all joined me. And then for this last one was me and Pat, which I've been trying to get him on the Monkey in the Morning for a while. So it was great to finally make that happen. I love talking with Pat. Pat's good people.
Yay, Pat.
Also, guys, on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, we will be giving away a copy of, what is it? Shadows of Mordor? Game of the Year edition.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings.
Indeed. So if you want to play a racist game, we're going to be giving away a copy of that as we play 7 Days to Die. This new alpha has been fun and frustrating in great ways.
Indeed.
Now, the frustrating part has not been great. Poor Satsu got fucked on both of those. We'll be giving away a copy of that tomorrow on 2 Cents Plus after this stream. What else do I want to... Oh, guys, we are getting real close to having 100 active viewers on that stream at one time. And that would be a major milestone for that stream. And please, if you like video games or if you like hearing me and Satsu talk, I think it's a lot of fun over there. People seem to enjoy the shit we say. Come watch, come hang out, and bring your friends with you. That's on 2 Cents Plus. There you go.
2 Cents Plus. I kind of worked on 2 different videos today. So last night I mentioned the one where it's a PowerPoint presentation from a teacher attempting to explain why having a white teacher in a diverse classroom is it's the problem isn't that they're white, not exactly.
Oh yeah, I remember. Not exactly. Okay,
not
yeah,
entirely, not entirely. That's the word, not entirely. So I got a bit deeper into that video today, and I was scripting, and yeah, it's probably going to turn into a video. It's not going to be a very visually exciting video because she just holds on her bullet point lists for the entire deal, except she does this weird thing where she's like zoomed in really close to the list, and as she speaks during the course of her bit, it slowly zooms out.
Oh.
I don't know why she did that. I put a little commentary bit about midway into the beginning of the video, just telling everybody that's her. I didn't do that. I don't know why she's doing that because it makes it very difficult to follow along.
Bitch, why you do that?
I don't know, but it's mostly her words are the important part, as you would imagine in a commentary video, and the shit that she says, man. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a curriculum of fear entry just because she says that she herself is a teacher. And I guess she's doing this project for some diversity training course that she's taking or something like that. So anyway, it's a relatively straightforward project. So I hope to have it out Thursday. Granted that I don't get caught up in work stuff, which is entirely possible given that it's the end of the month. So we'll see. I also have a dentist appointment.
It's the end of the month already. Jesus.
I know. We're a month away from the end of the year, for God's sake.
Yeah, no.
Hey, what else? Oh, in the other video, I'm still debating if I'm going to do something on it, but I caught it early today. It's from the Now This channel, which has a lot of weird videos where all of their videos are, or at least the majority of them are filmed in straight up cell phone fashion. You know, they're like a column.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. I have to jump through a couple of hoops with my video editor to make sure that my whole video doesn't get fucked up because of that. Anyway, it's the founder of Tom's Shoes, which I'd never heard of before, talking about how they have made the biggest single corporate donation in history towards ending gun violence.
Good for you.
Would you like to guess how much the single biggest corporate donation in history to end gun violence is?
$5.
No.
Oh.
$5.50.
No.
$10 sucky.
No.
I have no idea.
$5 million.
Wow. Go. Hey, look. Way to put your money where your mouth is. I think I probably disagree with what you say, but well, I can't.
The reason that I'm thinking about doing a video on this, maybe, I mean, I'm not a heavy either gun advocate or anti-gun advocate on either side. I'm kind of about the whole thing because on the one hand, I'm not a gun enthusiast. On the other hand, I don't disagree that in some cases, the laws between the federal government and the state and the enforcement of the existing laws are lackadaisical in a lot of places. So I could see arguments on both sides of the equation. Either way, the main thrust of this donation, so far as I can tell, and their intention is to promote universal background checks to reduce gun violence. And I'm kind of like, well, wait a second. Look up any of the recent shootings and you'll find one of two things happened. Either the shooter purchased the gun legally and passed the background check in the process, or the shooter stole a gun that had been purchased legally.
Yeah.
Almost to a one. One of those two scenarios applies in most situations. Not all, but in most of the high profile ones, the shooter had the gun. The gun itself was legitimately acquired by whomever owned it. And even if the shooter stole it, nothing stopped them from getting that gun because of a universal background check. So well-intentioned, but I don't think that's going to solve the problem.
I'm pretty sure it's not, but that's not the point. They
Yeah.
still virtue signaled, and the people who care about it are going to be like, "Wow, you're changing the world."
Yeah, again, you take $5 million. I'm not gonna deny that's a lot of money, but then you distribute it amongst however many organizations they're planning to give it to, and it quickly becomes sort of a diluted effort.
How much do you want to bet that money is going to end up going to the people who distribute and sell these guns? They're going to be like, "Oh, gee, thanks. We got to continue doing what we're already doing, which will help us get more guns to people."
Who knows?
Thank you for the donation. You silly fucking stupid people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, it's one of those things where it's like I kind of want to say something about how I think they're throwing money at a solution that won't give them the answer that they want. On the other hand, it's like, well, they are putting up the money to try to, do or achieve the end that they want. I can't argue with them on that. So it's one of those sort of like middle of the road situations where it's like, I don't know if I'm that so passionate about arguing with this notion that I'll make a video on it, but we'll see. Excuse me. Aside from that, that's all I've been up to. So on to fucketry time, internet fucketry. Let me get my couple out of the way here real quick. I only think I had a couple that we hadn't already talked about. And I go off of headlines because why read the entire story? The Washington Post put this out on a tweet today. Secret donors gave large sums to conservative nonprofit that funded pro-Trump allies.
Oh, no.
And I said, so I guess that means all donors to liberal nonprofits are completely public and upfront about their financial support? I mean, I'm not necessarily fond of like secret money going into things to fund political actions and stuff like that. I'm not like a fan of it in principle, but is it some kind of headline that one party does it, but the other one doesn't? That didn't make much sense to me. And then I really kind of want to read this story, but the headline itself was enough for me. This is from Splinter, our friends at Splinter. It said, if you get angry at things that you read on splinternews.com, the culprit is not us, but science.
Really?
And so I said, well, that's a creative way to deflect criticism. So I suppose if a reader enjoys what they read on Splinter, it's the fault of fantasy. Anyway, so, and lastly, someone named Scott Dworkin, trying to see, he's got a blue check mark. The Dworkin Report. He's a lead investigator for the Democratic Coalition. Yes. Anyway, this is what he said, because apparently this is a thing that happened. Bravo to MSNBC for not airing this Sarah Sanders press briefing. Others should follow suit. Stop amplifying all of them. And I said, yes, let the administration operate without any oversight from the Fourth Estate. Got it.
Is this related to the whole thing? Who was it? Not Woodward, Bernstein, who said that the news should decide, which pieces of the briefing to even show in the first place?
Maybe. I don't know. I just thought the whole notion of like, yeah, let's not cover the White House anymore because they're so mean. Like,
fucking retarded.
Like, okay, I may not be that jazzed with some of what the mainstream media does with the stuff that they do cover, but I don't think that they shouldn't cover it, because even the presence of a lousy press is still a kind of sunlight on power in this country. And there should always be some kind of sunlight on power, even if it's dim. So
is this the
that's what it was. Massive Dynamics. Thank you. An embarrassment of riches. That's what it was. That was the phrase. That's why we have so many stories for MSS News. It is an embarrassment of riches. Thank you, Massive Dynamics. If somebody else said it in the chat and I missed it, I apologize. I just saw it. Massive tweeted it to me. That was it. Okay. Sorry, Monkey. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello?
Monkey? I said Monkey, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear that. Most of mine today, well, there's only two that I really want to talk about. I got into an argument with an idiot that accused me of just not liking brown people, but we're not going to go over that too much. because of the immigration thing. The story we talked about the other day with the woman who wrote for CNN and said that America is so far from the country it was when her parents came here legally. In response to the tear gassing of those poor children. This person got really offended at me because I believe in immigration laws. It's okay to have them, and that we should enforce them. And there's not much more to say about that other than, are you fucking kidding? I have no problem with that. No shame in saying, we should have immigration laws. However, my sweetie, my online love of my life, Miss Alyssa Milano.
Oh God.
She had a few things today because today, what was the thing going on today? Giving Tuesday. Did you guys see Giving Tuesday?
No.
Giving Tuesday is apparently a day you're supposed to give. You're supposed to donate money. Okay. She had a few fun ones. One of which was, have you seen the proposed hashtag Title IX rule? The Trump administration and at Betsy DeVos are trying to silence survivors, but I refuse to let this happen. This hashtag Giving Tuesday, show that you hashtag believe survivors, give to @End Rape on Campus. To which I simply responded, if you actually care about the survivors, have them contact law enforcement.
There you go.
We don't need college administrators to be overseeing fucking rape trials, for fuck's sake. And we've all seen the nonsense that has happened in those kind of trials. Now, I didn't respond to the one, so I got to go find it real fast. Alyssa, sweetie, make sure this is easy for me to find.
Oh, no.
Where is it? Oh, shit. It's on here somewhere. Unless she took it off.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. West Virginia just eliminated insurance company or coverage for abortions for low-income women. Abortion is still legal there, but there's only one abortion clinic left and its patients need our help. Please join me in donating here. And she gave a link for it. Okay. Now, this is one of the first things she tweeted out on this Giving Tuesday, right? She really believes in abortion. And then she goes on to later do this one. Please consider a donation to @Sophia's Voice on hashtag Giving Tuesday to help support medically fragile children. They've given medical equipment, help with financial support, provided joy and respite to caregivers and advocates, disability activists, and more. And she gives a link for it. Now, it struck me funny that Miss Alano here,
Miss Alano.
Miss Alano, that it was more important to her, that the first thing that came to her mind was abortion, and that these disabled kids came second. To me, that seems like a weird priorities. That's all I'm saying. And I mean, if abortion is more important to you than disabled kids, I guess I don't know how to address you if that's how you feel. To me, I would put the kids who need help above the women who didn't insist on a condom. That's just me. But the order of those two just struck me funny. It's like, really, abortion, and then those poor disabled kids. Yeah, she was all over the place today with her Giving Tuesday bullshit.
I wonder if she actually gave to any of those or just told other people to.
Oh, I'm sure she probably gave $1.
Thank you, Cryptic. Her state just had a wildfire that need donations.
Fuck that.
This is true as well.
Yeah. In completely unrelated news, I find this fucketry. Apparently, they're going to make a Candyman sequel.
Didn't they already make a Candyman sequel?
Well, so okay, there's Candyman 2, Farewell to the Flesh, and there's Candyman 3, Day of the Dead, I think it was. Now, the first Candyman movie is still really good. It's a really good horror movie. It still stands up today as being creepy as hell, and I recommend it to anybody. Just so off the cuff, it's a very different kind of slasher flick. And Tony Todd makes a great bad guy. His voice alone is can be a horror film into itself. Apparently, Jordan Peele is going to make a new Candyman movie, but it won't have any relation to the other Candyman sequels.
Oh,
So it's ignoring 2 and 3, I guess. It doesn't tell me whether or not the story that I'm looking at doesn't say whether or not Tony Todd will be in the production, because Tony Todd is sort of like the Robert Englund of that entire franchise. He is Candyman. You don't really change that. If he's not involved in the production, well, then it's not really a sequel, even if it's like trying to be a Halloween, quasi sequel.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. So it was Season of the Witch. God, no, I hope not. I mean, I like parts of Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch should have been its own fucking thing. But anyway, I just wanted to, for those of you that care about horror movies, early classic horror movies, really, Candyman of all things, just leave it alone. Just re-release the original. I tell you what, just take the original and clean it up and re-release it to theaters. People will go see it. You make a whole ton of money without having to really do anything. I don't understand why people don't do that more. Anyway, Satsu, do you have any internet fucketry?
I saw a few things on Twitter and I commented on some stuff. I was actually looking up. Does anybody know off the top of their head? Because I did see a lot of posts claiming that this whole tear gassing tactic or whatever is absolutely not something that is exclusive to Trump. In dealing with people at the border, Obama has done it several times. It just wasn't talked about. And I went to actually seek out that information and had a hard time finding it. So I didn't know if anybody knew about that.
At the protests that were taking place regarding the Keystone Pipeline, there was a lot of, I believe, I could be mistaken. I think it was federal authorities using tear gas. It might have been local authorities doing so, but since it was I think it was a federal land issue. So it's not. And yeah, I heard that there was tear gas used at the border during the Obama administration.
Yeah, I haven't seen actual stories. I've just heard people saying it.
Right. Yeah. So I haven't seen evidence of that yet. Now, was tear gas used in any domestic fashion in any way by the Obama administration or local police? I mean, if tear gas was used against white supremacists at a white supremacist rally, riot, whatever, is that a war crime as well?
Who knows?
I mean, because the argument's being made like, oh, you use tear gas on people, that's a war crime. Like, no, it's not. At the WTO riot or the Ferguson riots or something else, or Baltimore, does that equate to a war crime if somebody uses CS gas or pepper spray or something for crowd control? I couldn't quite understand that argument.
Satsu, just the first search I found. I don't. It's from Breitbart. Take it for what it's worth. It's in the side chat there.
Yeah.
But there's the agency. Yeah, I mean, in CBP use of tear gas report 2012 through 2018 shows 26 cases in 2012, 27 in 2013, 15 in 2014, 8 in 15, 3 in 16, and then it's going back up. So I guess
not unheard of, basically.
Yeah, it's been done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't expect to see any, especially leftist news outlets talking about it because, they didn't care about it then. It was okay.
Sure.
As long as, right. So I'm just like, I'm pretty sure no matter how hard I look, certain places just didn't talk about it because it didn't matter then. But all the stuff I saw now was Fox and Breitbart and a bunch of other kind of smaller scale, more conservative ones talking about it. And I'm like, I I mean, I guess it's interesting that exclusively exclusively conservative outlets have been talking about it, but then again, that could go both ways. That could either mean that it's true or false. So depending on how you look at it. So I'm just like, I don't know. I just looking around, and I'm like, it definitely sounds like something, because Obama, when I watched that speech that he gave about about the immigrants or whatever, he was just as, if not probably more blunt about what we need to do about these immigrants and how it's unacceptable. Like, we need to change our laws. We need to get more he said more soldiers down at the border. Like he didn't sugarcoat it or it wasn't like some passing statement that you can just like overlook. Like he was very blunt and straightforward that the immigration problem is indeed a problem, and we do need to absolutely fix it. And it seemed to be, from all the stuff that I saw, pretty well received back then. So I don't know, man. This is the shit that really frustrates me, though, and makes me feel like, I could bitch about this shit and talk about it all I want, but it doesn't matter, because nobody really actually genuinely gives a fuck about anything. It's just all convenience. Whenever it's convenient, then they'll care about it. And then when it's not, they don't anymore. And I'm still here mad as fuck or annoyed about it, and they done fucking moved on to the next dumb shit.
You're not wrong, man, on that point. You're not. Sadly,
fucking annoying.
Yeah, political expedience. Whichever greases the wheels for the party that needs it to be greased is just how it is, and also the was it and again, I'm just the master of forgetting phrases tonight. There was some maxim that Reagan used that said, all the conservatives have to stay in line with one another. They must be unified. And that was a rule that there was always this Republican like lockstep sort of notion when it came to policy and everything else. You don't deviate from the party line, whereas Democrats, I guess in some instances, didn't have that rule down, and that's why they tended to fracture while the GOP kind of marched through things. Yeah,
and it switched.
Exactly.
It's fucking switched. It's fucking weird.
Well, it's not that weird, because the tactics of unified, no compromise, etc. The Republicans set up as soon as Obama was elected, and the inherent divisiveness of Trump has given the Democrats all the fuel they need to unite against Trump and justify it because of his attitude and everything else, which is a lot more. It makes a lot more sense to unify against Trump's attitude than it was Obama's attitude, because that was a charismatic guy. Trump has a different kind of charisma, but not Obama kind of charisma, So anyway, we are already at the bottom of the hour. I thought we'd have time to talk about other things, but hey, what do I know? Jay Brown says, Politico is called the Mississippi runoff. Hyde Smith wins. Yeah, she was at 50. She remained steady at about 56, 57% as the results came in. So I didn't see any reason why. Otherwise, so that controversy is over. Now we can move on to other more important things, I suppose, or not, as the case may be. Regardless, guys, it is now your time. Chat, if you have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy theories, if there is a franchise or fictional property or something you'd like to throw at us so that we can, as a group, come up with some interpretation of it that makes it bad, just for the sake of fun, by all means, put it in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of question marks afterwards so we know it's for us. And let's see. Pyrus Crete says, Monkey, did you hear that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez compared the migrant caravan to the Holocaust?
Yeah, we talked about that last night.
Yeah. Fleeing Jews fleeing the Holocaust. Yeah, fleeing Germany. Check Your Logic says, what's your favorite SpongeBob episode? I have never watched a full episode of SpongeBob.
The one where they do the concert where Squidward is going to show up his rival from forever ago. Yeah, and he's trying to get them to be this great rock band, and it's fucking up, so they buckle down and do it for him anyway, and they give that great performance at the end. I just love that one.
Oh yeah, I know which one you talk about.
Let's see. The original Shroom says, Scribe, I'm not a woman, but I care about the 19th Amendment. I'm not black or American Indian, but the 14th is important. I'm not a criminal, but the 4th and 5th are important to me.
Okay. Why do you care about the 19th Amendment?
Yeah, I knew that was going to set Monkey off as soon as I said it. I was waiting for him to cut in, but your boy Pat says the pizza episode of SpongeBob.
Oh yes, that is a great one. Where they got deliver the pizza,
the Krusty Krab pizza one. I like when they broke into Sandy's house when she was hibernating.
Oh yes,
that fucking episode was funny as hell. They got locked in there or whatever.
Let's see. Peter Hades says, Scribe, do you remember the movie Maniac Cop? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Wasn't Bruce Campbell in that? I believe. Maniac Cop was awesome. I remember watching that like on Showtime or something when I was a teenager. Yeah, I like cheesy B horror movies or whatever like that.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It sounds very familiar to me, but I cannot tell you why.
Yeah, Maniac Cop 2. I think I saw Maniac Cop 2 more times than I saw Maniac Cop 1 because I think it was replayed more on the whatever cable I was watching at the time. I wouldn't call it like one of the top classic horror movies of my life kind of thing because you got Elm Street and things like Candyman and The Thing, but it was an entertaining movie. Let's see. Pyrus Creed asks, would you bang Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know.
I'd like to see if her legs go up behind her neck.
Let's see. Original Shroom, why don't you care about the Second Amendment? I didn't say I didn't care about the Second Amendment. I said I'm not a gun enthusiast. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Harvest Marvel Scribe, they're airing the 1964 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer tonight. What's your guys' favorite Christmas special? God.
My favorite Christmas special was always Frosty, although it's not. I always felt that wasn't much of a Christmas special because Santa only shows up at the end. And the rest of the time, it's this retarded snowman yelling "Happy Birthday."
My favorite Christmas special, because when I think of like Christmas special, like the animated cartoons and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, of those, I guess the Rudolph one is the one I remember the most. I don't know if it's my favorite. I mean, when I think of like Christmas specials, I think of like TV movies and things like that kind of deal. I remember there was. I'm not going to say this is my favorite, but this is one that just came to mind for some reason. There was this version of It's a Wonderful Life they made. I think it might have been like one of those Hallmark movies or something, but they gender swapped it and they made it a woman and all this other stuff. Again, I'm not endorsing this movie. It probably sucked. For some reason, I just had it pop into my head. I hadn't thought about that in decades, but all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, they did make that, didn't they? So I don't know. Do you have a favorite Christmas special, Satsu?
I probably did at some point. I kind of hate them now. And that's like universal. Like I just hate Christmas like TV shows and movies and shit now. But I remember liking the what was it? The God damn it. The one the Scrooge one where he had to see the fucking Ghost of Christmas Past and the Ghost of that shit. What was that one called? I forgot.
It's a Christmas Carol, but which one?
Yeah.
Is it, the Disney one.
With,
Mickey Mouse and
Disney's always with Scrooge, actual
yeah.
Scrooge duck. Yeah. Disney's Disney's Mickey's Christmas Carol. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I think I watched quite a bit when it was the one thing that I really didn't like turn off whenever it came on when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I still, very much remember it. It stuck in my head, but I wouldn't watch it now if it came on.
Hey, Monkey, At some point next month, we should watch Scrooged and do a
Oh, I love Scrooge.
movies you should have watched. I think it's on Netflix. I think.
Oh, I own like several copies of that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't own a copy of it, but I'm fingers crossed it's on Netflix so I can see it elsewise.
I bought that so I could share it with my children a couple of years ago.
Yay. Raymond
real
Lewis.
quick,
Yep.
I do want to point. I really did love the Married with Children. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, with Sam Kinison.
Yeah, where it shows that their Peg and all of their lives would have been much better without Al.
Yeah.
And Sam Kinnison's like, I'm so sorry, dude. And he's like, oh, fuck this. Now I have to live. I can't let their lives be that good.
That's right. That was so good. Top Ramen Lewis says, did you hear about Charlie Brown Thanksgiving being racist? Yes, we talked about that last week.
I'm a little bit, you know, somebody offered the idea maybe the black kid didn't want to sit with them little honkies.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what I said. Look, man, like I said, if you look at the table, all the food was basically on his side. He's like, I ain't trying to reach all the way over there. White people.
Peter
Got a dog at the table, for fuck's sake.
Peter Haiti says, Satsu, have you seen Amon Apocalypse of Devilman?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay. What else did I miss here? Mr. Adams says, what about the Claymation Christmas?
I hate claymation.
Have you seen the Adventures of Mark Twain claymation movie?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. Yeah, I know what it is.
The Mysterious Stranger. If you guys ever want to creep yourselves out without having to see the entire movie, just go on to YouTube, look up Mark Twain Mysterious Stranger claymation, something like that.
It's creepy.
It is fucking disturbing. Okay. Even now, I remember it freaking me out as a kid. I watched it not that long ago, and it's still fucking disturbing. And it's just claymation. The movie was made for kids. Technically, there's nothing violent about it per se. I mean, there's suggested a couple things, but that's beside the point. The voice, I won't give away too much. Go look up the Mysterious Stranger claymation if you want to creep yourself out. It's really good. Let's see. Jack Gunsky says no Rankin Bass. God, what's a Rankin Bass Christmas story that I can think of? Are those the guys that defrosted the snowman? Oh, Rankin Bass, they're an animation guys. Hold on. I'll refresh myself. Christmas special. They did well. They're the guys that are responsible for like the stop motion ones, kind of like Rudolph.
Okay.
Yeah, there's guys that made Rudolph and the one where like Fred Astaire shows up in that one. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that was Santa Claus is Coming to Town, isn't it?
Yeah. They did that stuff. Your boy Pat says, didn't they say Charles Schultz got death threats for having Franklin in his comics? Oh, I have no idea.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I suppose it's possible.
At the time, are you kidding? Yeah.
Angela Arriaga says, does anyone other than me know Christmas Comes to Willow Creek? Let me
Not familiar to me.
See if I can find a image because I'm a far more visual person than I am like that. That looks familiar because that's the Dukes of Hazzard boys, isn't it? I think. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't immediately ring a bell, but so yeah, not me. Toasted Network says, should I call Child Protective Services on the photographer? She is a mother. The wedding photographer? I don't know. I presume people have already. If she was like drunk and got arrested, somebody had to take care of her kids. Jay Brown says, Scribe, like nothing better than California Raisins singing Christmas carols. Oh, the California Raisins. Man, there was this just fad of claymation back in the 80s with the Noid and the California Raisins.
Mm-hmm.
And Wallace and Gromit isn't technically claymation. It's more like stop motion than anything else. And I don't think there's clay used so much as just like still models and things. Gregory Hurst says, my friend was creeped out by Halloween is Grinch Night as a kid. Ever seen it? Yes. I recall I have. It was a long time ago, though.
You know a movie I used to watch on Halloween, even though technically it wasn't a Halloween movie?
What's that?
Black Cauldron.
Oh, yeah, the forgotten Disney movie, which nobody talks about anymore.
I loved that movie as a kid.
You know what the problem was with that movie? So the ownership of Disney changed over around the time that movie was being made. Like Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg took over the company at that time. Mm-hmm. And Jeffrey Katzenberg watched an early cut of the Black Cauldron. And he didn't like it because of its tone. And he made all these complaints that they should edit this out, edit that out, and everything else. And they had to explain to this guy, the guy that just helped purchase Disney, that you can't edit an animated film the same way you edit a film because it's, animated. It's hand drawn and all that stuff. And he got all pissed off that he had to be corrected.
Nice.
And part of the problem of that movie is that there's a whole bunch of stuff they had to cut out and rearrange and remake, and it just fucked up the movie.
Okay. Can I just read this tweet that I just saw real quick? Because Donald Trump, man, sometimes I'm fascinated by the random tweets that he puts out. Yeah. Brenda Snipes, in charge of voting in Broward County, Florida, was just spotted wearing a beautiful dress with 300 I voted signs on it. Just kidding. She's a fine, very honorable, and highly respected voting tactician.
Okay.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Faithless says, how about non-traditional Christmas movies like Trapped in Paradise? The Ice Harvest. You want to watch it really? The Ref, yeah. The Ref, the Ice Harvest. Ice Harvest is a really... it's written by the Egon. Something I can't remember his name. The guy who played Egon Spengler.
Shit.
Anyway, he wrote that movie. I believe directed it as well. Pretty sure. It's if you watch that and then you watch the commentary to the Ice Harvest, it takes on a much more interesting sort of deep meaning, sort of like how Groundhog Day was sort of like this weird meditation on.
Yes, Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis, sorry. Yeah. Like Groundhog Day was a meditation on redemption and sort of like, fixing your life and doing an internal self-assessment. There's this great line where John Cusack is sitting in a car and it's such a really interesting movie. And he's just kind of sitting there and he's talking to his friend and he talks about how his father had a twin brother. And his father lived this super duper straight as an arrow life, did everything right, went to school, got his education. His brother was an absolute hellion, drank too much. He lost an eye. He was a biker. He did drugs and all this other stuff. And they both died within 2 days of each other. And he's like, it doesn't really matter what you do. You always end up in the same place. And that has a lot of resonance throughout the movie. And it's just this offhanded little weird story. But as you apply that to other things going on in the movie, it's like, wow, it's really good a movie. It's really, not many people know about that movie. I think more people should watch The Ice Harvest. Let's see. Toast Network says, Scribe, like, didn't Sidney Hyde Smith dress as a Confederate? There is a photo of her at like a museum. I don't know if she was wearing a full outfit, but I know she was at least wearing a hat and holding like a musket.
Yeah. It was her. There was also some guy with her. I forget who it was. He was wearing she's not in full regalia. She's wearing just the hat. And he's wearing the Union cap. Yeah,
and it's at a museum. So, whatever. Faithless says, I like Family Man with Nick Cage. Oh, God. Did I ever see that? I'm not sure I ever saw that. Pirates Creed. Oh, thank you everybody for saying Harold Ramis. I know my mind blanked. Pirates Creed says, why haven't you congratulated Weibo on her new baby?
Weibo's baby. What the hell
did she grow a third boob? What? I don't know.
STA is the one that's pregnant, y'all.
You know what the creepiest Christmas movie is? Jack Frost. Not the horror movie, the one with Michael Keaton. Have you seen that movie?
Rudolph.
Now, have you seen Jack Frost with Michael Keaton?
No.
Okay, Jack Frost with Michael Keaton is one of the most disturbing, weird kids movies, especially a Christmas movie. A guy dies and is reincarnated as a snowman
to hang out with this kid, right?
Yeah, to hang out with his kid.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I know what that is.
Snowman. Yeah. It is so bizarre and odd and weird. It's one of those things that's like, I don't know if it's so bad that it's good, but it's definitely one of those things if you watch in a group of friends, you could have a lot of fun with, but it's so weird. Let's see.
I've never watched it, but I remember it.
SDA is pregnant, says Faithless.
Yes, she is. Ask her about it on.
Oh, sorry, no, that was Lesser Logic. Lesser Logic says SDA is pregnant. She's always been pregnant, as far as I know. We've always thought she was. Let's see. Duck Dog says Ice Harvest had Connie Nielsen in it. Hubba Hubba. Yeah, oh yeah, Connie Nielsen she's looking good in that movie. John Cusack, Connie Nielsen, Billy Bob Thornton, Oliver Platt, and who am I thinking of? Oh, Randy Quaid before he went fucking crazy. I'm
pretty sure he's always been.
He's always been a little crazy, but before he went like psycho, like defecting to Canada crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Samael says SDA is not pregnant. Girl just thick.
I'm telling you, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Announced it the other day on my show.
Shiogura says the costume for Jack Frost's snowman form was created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. I could believe it. I could believe it. Zombie Teddy, as Wichita Falls, so falls Wichita Falls. Yeah, that's an Ice Harvest reference. Great. Odd little thing. Pinkala the Driving Ape Man. What was the one with Ellen Ripley? Her husband dies in the beginning after visiting her at the grocery store. There's an old guy that's an angel. What movie? Ellen Ripley? You mean Sigourney Weaver?
God, me. I'm not familiar at all.
Old guy that's an angel. Was it We're No Angels with Paul Hogan?
Oh God,
Shiogarath says, the hell ever happened to Lisa Loeb? Well, she's still singing with her guitar in her apartment with her glasses, I guess. I don't know. Mr. Adams says, Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby? I don't know what that means. Faithless says, It's a Wonderful Life is still a great movie. I like it. I don't think it's as good as everybody says. It's got a lot of memorable moments in it and stuff, but it's all right. You know,
it's sappy crappy.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's his name directed it? The guy did all the. Oh my God, I'm so horrible with names today for some reason. Fuck me.
You got a monkey day going on, man.
I am really. Let's see. Dark Allow says, "Good night, all. I'm losing steam. Enjoy the rest of the stream." You're losing steam. Well, how do you get all your cheap games?
Oh man, there were so many good games on that sale.
Is it over?
Yeah. There's other sales going on, but
Earl Walton says The Long Kiss Goodnight. That is an underrated Christmas movie. That's true. The Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, that's great. Shiogarath, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Well, that wasn't a Christmas movie, I don't recall. But I love that movie. It wasn't a Christmas movie that I remember. Ginger Power says Alfalfa is It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, was he? He must have played one of George Bailey's kids or something. Frank Capra, yeah, Frank Capra was the director of that one. He did all the he did like Meet John Doe, I think, and a whole bunch of other like Americana pro-war or like World War II propaganda pieces for the U.S. Let's see. Your boy Pat says the Cyber Monday sale is still going, I think. Okay. Let's see. Grisella says, anyone seen Freddie the Freeloader's Christmas Dinner with Red Skelton and Vincent Price?
No.
Damn. No, but I might be interested in seeing that because I like Red Skelton, and Vincent Price, of course, was always fun.
My dad loved Red Skelton.
Mm-hmm.
There's a game called Elon Musk Simulator.
Is he sitting in a recording studio just smoking pot the whole time?
It looks like a fucking super downgraded No Man's Sky. It's weird. And this is 2. Elon Musk Simulator 2. What the fuck?
Let's see. Tartness says, Scribe, I picked up The Room and The Room 2 cheap. I love those games. Yep, I just finished The Room 3. I finally got through all of the alternate endings. The final super duper ending, if that's suggesting where the next game is going to go. And of course, I haven't played the next game yet because it's still only on mobile. It probably won't come out for PC for another year or two because they take that long to port them. But yeah, couple of things in The Room 2, sorry, in The Room 3 were a bit frustrating because they were a little bit too obscure. In the late game, a couple of things got a little bit too, where the fuck am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? But once you finally figure it out, it does become a bit more gratifying. And I'm proud to say I went through all 3 games without using a single clue. I trudged through a couple of them, hurting my brain in doing so, but I didn't ask for a hint once. I didn't look up anything. So, let's see. Jack Gunsky says, Scribe, can Monkey play Quiplash after the stream? I'm not Monkey's keeper. You should ask Monkey. Monkey?
I'm probably going to sleep after this.
Okay. His kitten says, my son is named for Vincent Price. Oh, cool. I always liked Vincent Price. I always thought he was like a very... he's one of those guys that there's no scandal around him. Sort of like John Ritter. There's no scandal. Oh, yeah. It's like one of those people that just one of those celebrities that just somehow is just, for all we know, unless there's been some deep secret or something, just an all around just gentle, nice person. You can't say, you don't have a bad word to say about him.
Steam need to stop fucking around and get these etchy naked anime girl games on sale.
The anime naked sale.
What's that?
I said, have the naked anime sale.
What? Shut up, Squishy. Go
let's see. Blind Press says, y'all forgot about Black Christmas. Great Christmas movie. Yeah, Black Christmas. Or Krampus. Actually, Krampus is a really good movie. If you haven't seen it's a couple of years old now. Krampus is actually a really, really well done movie. So
didn't we watch that Krampus movie, Squishy? That Christmas Krampus, the fucking the Christmas demon.
Yeah.
Yes.
We watched that shit. Yeah, that was actually good.
Oh, speaking of Vincent Price, I just read the other day.
That was advertised because it was on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I just read the other day that they're coming out with a new Scooby-Doo movie.
Really?
Oh,
dude. You know what it's called? You know what it's called?
What is it?
No.
It's called The 13th Ghost. They're finally going to finish that plot line.
Wow.
From the 80s with the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, because they never did capture all the ghosts. So now they're going to wrap that up all these years later in a new animated movie. And I was like, damn, I got to get that one because I've been waiting all this time for Vincent Van Gogh to finally get that 13th ghost back in the box.
Well, I just put up a picture because they showed the new the way the new Daphne and Velma looks or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's 3 pictures from the 3 live action movies, and it's like the biggest downgrade in history. And it's true, they got progressively worse every movie. And the last one, oh my god, I'm just like, oh wow, they didn't even try this time.
Do they have any pictures from the Scooby-Doo porno? Obviously not. Yeah. Nope. Let's see. Jack Gunsky says, Satsu, can you play Quiplash after the stream?
The way Squishy's rubbing on me, probably not.
It's dick time, y'all.
Dude.
Pincalo says, Harry Dean Stanton played the angel and the actress was Mary Steenburgen. The movie was called One Magic Christmas. I don't recall that one. Serenity Lowe says Supernatural did Scooby-Doo justice in their crossover episode. Oh, yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. Gregor Hurst says, what's the appeal of Scooby-Doo? Raggy? Ruby, Ruby, Roo.
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island was the best movie. Fight me.
Yeah. Your boy Pat says the porn was better. Yeah, the Scooby-Doo porn. Yeah. I don't even know if there was actually a dog in that one though, and I wouldn't want to think about what happened to the dog in the porn.
That's just
Scooby.
what we do. I mean, it's like the original MacGyver, man.
What,
Except
Scooby?
for none of their experiments worked out right. None of their.
God,
They always built some contraption to catch them, and
No, wait. The A Team always built something. MacGyver
The
always
A-Team-
built something.
well, yes.
Was
I'm
that
just saying Scooby-Doo did it first.
Scooby-Doo built stuff?
They used to build the little traps.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I don't know.
Don't you okay me? I'm right.
Whatever. I love MacGyver. Oh, MacGyver's such a great show.
MacGyver's just 80s Scooby-Doo.
Except for those first couple episodes where they still hadn't figured out the character, so he was actually acting like some kind of like deadly super spy. And like the third or fourth episode, and they're like, "Yeah, let's make him a pacifist, nice problem solver." Oh, you know what TV show that's kind of like MacGyver that I miss? Okay, and nobody's going to remember this. Okay, I'll be surprised. Well, our audience might, but I doubt anybody here, especially Monkey, remember this. There was a show, a very brief time. It was called The Wizard, and it involved a magician / toy maker guy who was played by a midget, a British guy, and I forget what his name was. He'd done a couple other movies, and he was palled around with like an ex-cop or private investigator or something. Of course, they solved mysteries and things like that, and had little adventures where his little gadgets and toys and things would solve problems. And I remember bits and pieces of the show, but there was one where the cop, he's trapped inside like I want to say it's like a tank or something underground. He's running out of air. And so what he does to get himself out of this thing is hello?
Hello?
I heard a big click. I thought somebody clicked me off. He unscrews a bullet. He pours the powder from the bullet into some chewing gum that he's chewed up and makes it into a little bowl. And then he presses this against the seam of whatever the tank he's in. And then he uses like a flashlight battery or whatever to ignite it. And that blows the lid off of the thing. And I thought, that's stupid. And I was like 6. And I said, that's not how that works. But I like that show, The Wizard. If everybody else remembers The Wizard.
It sounds familiar. I don't think I watched it very much because isn't that little God what was you ever see the movie Under the Rainbow?
Yes.
Isn't it the little midget from there, the main midget?
Maybe. Hold on. Under the Rainbow.
The only thing I remember about Under the Rainbow is that little midget.
No,
creepy little bastard.
Not the ones that I see. Anyway, I'll look it up later. But yeah, I think I'd seen him in some other things, but I can't remember. 3 minutes to go, guys. Sorry so much. I got distracted. Harvest Marvel Scribe, thoughts on Santa Claus the movie with Dudley Moore? Dudley Moore and John Lithgow. That is a weird movie. I mean, it's got the whole message about like marketing Christmas, and the elf goes off to sort of like start his own Christmas franchise kind of thing. It's a very 80s movie. I mean, not only the fact that it was actually made in the 80s, it was really weird. I remember seeing the ads for that when I was a kid and being really excited about it. When I finally saw it, it was really kind of odd because it was, as a Christmas movie, it was kind of marketed to kids, but the themes in the entire movie were very adult. Not like, graphic or anything per se, but just sort of like above our heads kind of stuff. So that was kind of a weird movie. Ryan Rawlings says, Scribe, the cop was in a gasoline tank and there were 2 skeletons of some lovers who were killed by sealing them in the tank years before. Oh my God, Ryan. That does sound familiar. Yeah. And so you had to use the gum to try to make sure the thing would spark off and light off the fumes or something. I don't know.
Which should have blown him to hell.
Exactly. I was like, that's not how that works. Duck Dog, wasn't there a new Christmas Carol with Patrick Stewart a few years ago? Many years ago, there was. Yes, and he did a good job. I like that version of it. Let's see. Check your logic.
I feel like Patrick Stewart can do anything.
Patrick Stewart, pretty much. If the character is bald or balding, he can do it.
He played a pile of shit, so I mean, he's. pretty much.
I was always waiting for him to play Daddy Warbucks.
Oh yeah, he could have done that well.
I thought he would have been a great Daddy Warbucks back in the day. Not that what was it, Peter Finch or whoever did it originally in the original one. He did a great job too because he was lots of bluster. You could really get the bluster out of that guy real good. Let's see, we're almost at the end, guys. Hey, Cryptic, do you want to play Quiplash after the stream? Asks Jack Gunsky, just in case you weren't watching. Green Badger, Scribe that the midget was also in Time Bandits. That's what I was thinking of. Time Bandits. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, he was in Time Bandits. And with that, guys, Time Bandits, our time has run out. Hey, what do you think of that segue?
Don't forget the midgets.
Don't forget the midgets. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. As you always do, you guys are the best audience in the internet, on the internet, in our series of tubes, something like that.
Indeed.
Moderators, thanks for keeping an eye on things, even though our chat is, in relative terms, the best behaved chat audience in the universe.
In relative terms.
Relative terms. I always put relative terms because, there might be better in some other genre out there somewhere.
Bullshit.
Yeah, well, okay. You're probably right. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Remember, guys, tomorrow we'll be on Monkey's channel per usual, and also tomorrow night on Satsu. On Satsu Tuesday on 2 Cents Plus, Monkey and Satsu will be playing 7 Days to Die and giving away a copy of Shadow of Mordor to some lucky viewer. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, guys, hope you have a good Wednesday and your lives make us sad. Oh, wait, I forgot the part. I'm sorry, guys. I got confused because my phone is going off and work is telling me something unfortunate, which means I'll have to go deal with that now. Satsu, Monkey, thank you for joining me as always.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
By the way, a girl got banned on Twitter for misgendering herself, so that's a thing.
Sign of the times.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Would you believe that today's secret word is a hyphenated word?
Sure.
Okay.
Randomly selected out of my book. Today's secret word is foot kissing.